Welcome to Your Anime Senpais. I'm John, and we're going to be doing another episode of the Louisville Anime Community's newsletter. And joining me again is Randall, the founder of the Louisville Anime Community. So let's just start off with these news articles that you've scoured off the internet and we need to know about.
Kind of like barnacles, aren't they? So, a couple of different interesting things going on in the world. ANN reported that Sony is investing $400 million in Chinese streaming anime site billibilli, which if you've seen some of the other things I've dropped in the Facebook lately, you know that there's a lot of investment going into China right now for their animation. And they're really going to become a massive leader in that area, I think, where Japan is really good with their stories, but China has been developing their animators for a long, long time because Japan's been feeding them work for their in-between animation, doing a lot of the cheap cell art, things like that for years and years and years to kind of offload some of that work. And now they're at the point of saying, why don't we just do it ourselves? Well,
makes sense.
Here we are. So Sony's seeing that investment. Of course, Sony, I think, is it Funimation or Crunchyroll that they bought that Sony did? They've got
I believe it's Funimation.
Okay.
Because that's why they took them off Verve.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Because Sony bought them.
So they already have Aniplex is a subdivision of them. Of course, they got Sony Media Entertainment. So them getting a stake in China's main streaming platform for anime, next logical thing.
Yeah.
In kind of the same vein, the Japan Times has also said that Netflix is in talks to license the Ghibli library of films.
Yeah, about time.
You know, if you've been kind of following along where the Ghibli library is sat, it used to be with Disney, then G-Kids bought it off, and then they have been doing these the Ghibli fests for the last couple of years in theaters.
Yeah.
So this is just, they recently talked, I think it was HBO got the digital streaming rights, and of course that was because Miyazaki needed to fund his next movie. So I guess it was the president of Studio Ghibli came to him and said, you need money for this to happen. So why don't we just license this stuff? And he said, do it. And here we are. So Netflix getting a hold of it just means that, it'll be more widely available in the States and we'll have more anime fans. Also, the Japan Times has put out a thing about Cho Kabuki, which of course is that theater, like live action theater environment or type, what would you call it? It's its own specialty in Japan.
Yeah.
They've actually started merging that with hatsune miku and like a rock concert and different things, and they're calling it Chokabuki. It's a new 70-minute long stage play format. They're really doing this to try and bring in more of the younger crowd and audience rather than the older folks to it. And it's something kind of new and exciting that's got an anime kind of background to it. A lot of folks kind of see this as a extension or an evolution of kabuki theater, but they're trying to kind of do it with respect to the old kabuki, and they're taking the criticisms of people that prefer that to heart and kind of changing it as it goes. If you're actually interested in kabuki, Sora News actually put out that the National Theater of Japan uploaded 5 hours of the 18th century play Toshitsune Senbon Zakura to YouTube, and you can watch it for free on there. We're going to have all these links down in the description so that you can get to them easily. You don't have to search. Also, Sora News came up with a nice little article. If you've ever dropped, a manga or a light novel or something in the water, maybe in the bath, we don't judge. Got it messed up, maybe got rained on or something. You get this really warped, nasty, the way the Japanese kind of fish-based ink in that, it smells. It gets all crinkly. I've actually had this problem myself because I had a lot of import books from Japan that were rare, and my basement flooded out here recently. So no amount of putting them outside and trying to flatten them out really saved them. But what they came up with in this article is that if you put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in your freezer for a day, and then let it defrost under a heavy weight, it will flatten out pretty nicely. I don't know how well this would work for stuff that is aged and has been damaged for a while. Maybe you could re-moisturize it and do this. Maybe I'd try it with something you're not worried about losing. But results look pretty good, so it might be worth a look if you've got some damaged manga or something along that line.
Definitely helpful. All right, well, let's turn our attention to the upcoming events and just different things that are going on in the area, the conventions, and maybe just things that the local community, Louisville Anime Community, plans to do in the future.
Well, as far as cons go, you have to know that pretty much all of them have shut down. It's a real tough time for conventions because you can't just back out of a hotel contract or a food contract, or there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that go into a major convention and tens of thousands of dollars that go into even a small sub $1,000 person convention. It's a tight space to be into. As far as we know, Anime Expo in July is still on track to run, but they've definitely been talking seriously about where it's going to go here in the next month or two, depending on how long all these mandates and orders continue. Unfortunately, ConGlomeration, it's been here, I think, more than 35 years. It was originally under the name RiverCon. They have had to shut down permanently. This was going to be their last year, and we had Sailor Moon guests lined up. Other folks ready to come in from Ohio and Tennessee and all over the place, wanting to put on one last great show. Unfortunately, they had to close down. There is an effort between some of the ex-staff and some new folks to try to make a new conglomeration under a new name, kind of keep that same family feel to it, try and keep it somewhat small. Louisville really doesn't have a home convention at this time because they've shut down. Also, GalaxyCon, the reason I say there's no home convention is GalaxyCon has also departed. If you remember, before GalaxyCon, they were under the name SuperCon. They had some tension between them and the convention center on dates just before all this hit, and have decided not to come back to Louisville until some of their space opens up or something changes. So they're done as well, unfortunately. Imaginarium, I know, is more of an author and book kind of get-together convention here in the area. They've recently moved locations to the Holiday Inn. I know their president, owners, I guess, mainly, is the proper way to say it. They're fighting the coronavirus themselves right now. So, prayers and well wishes out to them. Some of that stuff, I mean, there's a lot of cons going down. I know some folks have talked about maybe going out to OMG Con at Owensboro. That may or may not close. Just kind of keep your ear to all the Facebook groups and Twitter and pages. Make sure you can get your refunds if need be. Make sure you get refundable hotels.
That's a
lot of money.
Smart idea. Yeah.
Especially right now. As to what we're doing with the LAC during this time, part of it's going to be online outreach, like what we're doing with the newsletter and the Senpais, and doing more videos there, try and keep you entertained. We're also going to have a Gunpla build online on the 19th of April, somewhere between about noon and 1 p.m. This is basically in lieu of what we were originally doing at Cardinal. Of course, Cardinal, they have also shut down. They've only been taking like curbside orders as of late. They've also started a Discord, but we want to be able to have a live stream. We're probably going to do this off of Twitch. It's going to be kind of our first dry run before we get too involved in doing other types. We're going to have basically some abridged videos going while we're doing the Gunpla build, so you can watch that on the side. I'll be building a Gundam, and we can talk about how to model, how to paint, stuff like that, like we generally discuss. So before this week is out, which this is currently the 12th, we'll have some more details about how to join in that and get on the Discord and Twitch and talk with us at that time. Moving on from that though, like you said, first thing's going to be a dry run, then we're going to move on to other things. We've also had bought a group package for Tabletop Simulator, which is a Steam game. It's basically like a sandbox or a virtual environment where you can play board games of any type in it. There's stuff on there like King of Tokyo and Tentacle Bento and Ramen Fury and Fate Grand Order Duel, like we had planned about doing, in physical meat space. Once you buy the base game, all those are just like mods you get from the Steam Workshop, and they're free. So, we can get a number of people in there. We'll broadcast that, talk on the side in Discord or whatnot. Also, Cards Against Humanity, that's been in the news a lot lately. We were playing Cards Against Humanity online 5, 6, 10 years ago before all this became popular. So if you've ever seen our board gaming events, I bring out a Anime Against Humanity clone that we've got. It's got like 750 cards. That's actually originally an online version. I just printed out all the cards we had online. So we can easily run Anime Against Humanity for a bunch of people. No big problem there. We'll do that pretty easily. We've also talked about having open Discord, kind of like mixer events, where we have a set time, set day, something like that, where people know we can get on the Discord, just have kind of a big powwow, talk about how people are doing, what they're watching, just kind of like our chat and chew events. We're also looking at, depending on how things go, how things settle down, we're in our basement theater right now doing our recordings. We were talking before about doing a marathon of the Evangelion movies sometime maybe mid-June-ish before 3.0+1 comes out. We'll see how the lay of the land looks before we go that route, but if everybody's feeling well, we're all doing good, we can keep that on the schedule board. In the meantime, physical meat space events will be pretty much limited or none as much as possible. Keep everybody safe because we want to see you back again.
Well, with all that, like you said before, all the links for the previous information is going to be down below. Definitely check that out. Check out their Facebook page. They do have additional information there. If you have any ideas, put them down in the comments. Reach out to Randall or myself on Facebook. We'd definitely like to hear different things that you'd like to suggest, maybe that we can try in the future, or maybe even different ways that might be advantageous for us to implement and to streamline this a little bit better. So definitely would appreciate it if you haven't subscribed. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification button to keep up with our channel and our content we normally put out. And we'll see you in the next newsletter video.